Brent Venables gets the dreaded vote of confidence. So if we can go ahead and share that, because this is the second coach in the past week to get the dreaded vote of confidence. Billy Napier got it, but there's reason to believe that Napier could indeed hang on for another year because they want to spend that money that they would pay him in a buyout to NIL. So I kind of believe that dreaded vote of confidence that was released by Florida and Scott Strickland, the AD, who's good at setting up interviews, earlier this week. Or was that was last week? And then Florida went on to get hammered over the weekend. So what do you think of the Brent Venables dreaded vote of confidence? What does that mean for the Oklahoma coach? Because I don't ever think that Josh Heupel would go to Oklahoma, but it's something we always need to keep an eye on, right?
Yes. And so on Tuesday, the University of Oklahoma's president and athletic director gave football coach Brent Venables a vote of confidence after the school's Board of Regents meeting. Oklahoma, Dave, the quotes stand out even more. Oklahoma President Joseph Harris, quote, "We all get emotional in the course of the season. What's unwavering is the commitment to him. This is a new era for us, but it's also a new era for college athletics, and there's going to be a lot of adjustment, and there's going to be a lot that takes place. As far as my commitment to Coach Venables, it's 100%. Athletic Director Joe Castiglione adds, "Obviously, the season thus far has not gone as we'd hoped or planned. We're mindful that we haven't met the Oklahoma standard for 2024. That said, we truly believe in Coach Venables and our team and are completely focused on both supporting them and looking at all the ways to address the needed improvements now as soon as possible, as well as in preparation for next year." The things that stand out to me are the president saying we all get emotional and the AD saying the season has not gone as we'd hoped or planned, and we're mindful that we haven't met the Oklahoma standard. There's nothing you could say after those two quotes to make me believe you when you say you have the vote of confidence in Venables, quite honestly.
Yeah, that makes it kind of sound worse. It sounds like a couple people were screaming in that Board of Regents meeting that you got to fire him. You got to fire him.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. Somebody in the Board of Regents was like, "We demand he be fired." And he was like, "No." And they were like, "No."
Okay. So his buyout is in the realm, I've been told, of about $45 to $50 million. That's a lot of money. Now, I don't doubt that they could get together the guys to pay it, but you suddenly have this new expense called NIL that's going to come down the pike, and they're going to have to spend about $30 million on that. So, Caleb, my question for you is, could some of these coaches get a reprieve for a year, as I think will be the case with Billy Napier? Basically has nothing to do with them or their coaching, just because of NIL.
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. It's about the talent that people want to land. And look, you see this in the NFL all the time, Dave. How often do you see in the NFL of a coach should be on the hot seat, but they realize that they are about to land an amazing, I'll give you an example. Doc Rivers was borderline fired from the Celtics in 06-07. Why did he stay around in 07-08? Because they went and traded to get Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen. And the talent itself outweighs the coach nowadays. I've said this for a while. We're about to enter, guys, and this is one of the craziest things you've ever heard me say. Dave, we're about to enter a Moneyball era of head football coaches. There's going to be a team that realizes they can spend less on coaches and apply that to NIL and get more on talent because, guys, spoiler alert, if you've watched football at all for the past 100 years, talent is 75% of winning a championship. Coaching is 25%, maybe less than that.
Okay, let's address the $1 million question or the 800-pound elephant in the room, whatever the case may be. Would Oklahoma potentially, if they made a change in Brent Venables, would they give Josh Heupel a call? Portions of the program brought to you by TristarHatsCo.com. Use the promo code HOOK for 10% off.
Have you seen the latest TriStar Hats Co. product?
TriStar Hats Co.? What's that?
You know, those really cool hats, shirts, tumblers, and even license plates with 3 stars like the official Tennessee flag and stripes like the American flag. Pretty patriotic if you ask me.
Ah, gotcha. Seen those. Those are cool. Where can I get them?
Simple. TristarHatsCo.com. And if you order now, there's 10% on any order $50 or more. Plus, use the promo code HOOKED.
With the promo code HOOKED, you get 10% off. That's hooked.
And don't forget free shipping with any order over $50. Stock up at TristarHatsCo.com. That's TristarHatsCo.com. There are plenty of wannabes out there, so make sure you go to TristarHatsCo.com for the best quality and customer service.
Will do, and I'll be sure to use the promo code HOOKED. That's hooked when I do to save an additional 10% off. TristarHatsCo.com.
TriStar Hats Co. is a trademark of TriStar Hats Co. LLC. Any use without...
Okay, I want to be real clear. I've been told from my sources all along, and this was kind of a big deal before they hired Venables and they realized they were going to make a coaching change. They called Josh Heupel, that as long as Stoops is there, that's not going to happen. And I wouldn't be concerned whatsoever if I were Tennessee fans. Now, the other factor, and I know that's home for Josh Heupel theoretically, but he's actually from South Dakota. So it's home in terms of a college. The other thing that I would factor in there before anybody got concerned about Josh Heupel leaving is, would he want to really rebuild a program again? Because that's what's going to happen. And there's a lot of moving parts. The Spire Group did its job for a time, and now that's getting taken over by Learfield Communications. So I'll just look at it pragmatically, aside from me reporting based off sources that I don't think Heupel would have interest in the job as things stands now. But pragmatically, it would not be a good move for Josh Heupel, Caleb.
No, I don't think it would either. I mean, would you want to, with Tennessee, you have the program where you want it, and you're on the cusp of a national title, even if you don't do it this year, and you know the NIL house is in order. Do you want to go to OU where you don't think the NIL house is in order? You're not happy with how you left. I doubt they're going to cut ties with Bob Stoops. I don't think they'll have the nerve to do that. They should, but they're not going to. It's hard for me to see Josh Heupel would say, my loyalty to my alma mater outweighs all of those other things. I would never have any loyalty to an alma mater to outweigh those things. I'm sorry. One of the reasons, people bring up, one of the great ones people bring up, Dave, all the time is Johnny Majors leaving Pitt for Tennessee. Yes, at the time, Pitt was a better program. Tennessee was a disaster. But you and I and Boo and Johnny Majors and everybody in the world knew that, it's not like Pitt was going to be a long-term thing. You couldn't keep that thing going.
No, you got a guy named Tony Dorsett, as he was known in college. It turned into Tony Dorsett for some reason. And he was a special player. And you had mentioned something to the effect that he stacked the roster in some shape or form.
There were no such thing as scholarship limits. Johnny Majors took advantage, was the only coach to know how to take advantage of this, because Johnny Majors actually always understood NCAA rules very well. So he went and he recruited a class of 115 players his first year at Pitt. That's the class that won the national title.